We do we do send out a large number of emails, follow-ups. We'll send videos out. So just check your spam if you're not receiving something, because if you're in this group. Also, we have a Facebook group, guys, just specific to this follow-up group. Okay, so we want to post that link. Mike Doyle, pretty much most of my team members are on here. Eric White, Mike Doyle, Mark Schaefer. So if you need those guys at any time, they'll be able to help you over the next 4 weeks. But we do have a private Facebook group specific to the people in this follow-up, so that we can just be a professional reminder to you and stay in your face about the follow-up. I'll be posting notes, videos, very technical things, and I'll be posting some inspirational things too, just to keep you going. So, all right, I'm ready to get started. Jay and Al, would you guys like to just kick us off? Because we're about to go on a 4-week journey with these guys. We had about, I want to say over 200 and close to 250 probably register. We suspect there'll be more. So I think there'll be over 300 that'll be registered for this follow-up series with us. But I'd love for you guys just to say a word to get us kicked off, and then I'll get into kind of the methodology we're going to focus on today.
Yeah, I think, this is a long time coming, something that that we've noticed over the years, and really in the past year being able to work with Coach Bird, is that we're all missing out on the process for how to best communicate, follow up, and ultimately close people on making the move over to EXP. And so this 4 weeks is dedicated to taking action and really following a process that gets results. We've had, just in the little bit of, time that we've been covering this topic, and we've done it a couple different times, but especially at shareholders, the feedback we're getting is people going out, taking action, following this process and getting results. And this is something that we've experienced at a high level. When you start taking action towards your goals, you start getting results. And if you're not following a process, you're winging it. And I think it's hard to stick to something when you don't know for sure if it's going to work, or you don't know what to say next. And we've just found through experiencing what Coach teaches that this is much better than anything that we've ever followed as far as a process for agent attraction. And we're going to leverage this the last 2 weeks to bring other people value and give you a good opportunity to have conversations that are somewhat difficult to have if you don't have something to invite people to and to add value to them, and ultimately follow this framework that Coach is going to lay out for us for exactly what to say and exactly how to get them closed and coming over to EXP and being partners with us.
Nice. Al, do you want to add something to that? Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, well said. And the only thing I'm going to add, and I'll let you get to it, Coach, is that, we've been saying from the beginning when we started becoming students of agent attraction that if it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't matter. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go about agent attraction out there, and but not all of them duplicate. And this duplicates. This is duplicatable. Literally anybody can do this if you follow the formula. It's a proven, repeatable system that you've created, that I've used, Jay's used, you've used. Many have already been literally implementing it in their business, and it just works because it's based off principles. And so I'm excited to learn more. I'm ready. I got my pen and I'm ready to get after it. So without further ado, thank you, Coach. Take it away.
All right. Well, I'm excited to be with you guys for the next 4 weeks. I want to really encourage you, be here, try to be live with me. We're going to do this every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And we're really going to break down follow-up. And I suspect you'll see a 30% uptick or increase just by the sheer volume of what we're teaching and just keeping it at the top of your mind. A good coach is a professional reminder, guys. And they remind you to do things that you should be doing all the time. Okay. So just so everybody understands, the first 2 weeks we'll be teaching follow-up from a perspective of agent attraction, or if you're trying to build your organization. And then the last 2 weeks, we'll actually give you a link and you will be able to invite any agents that you want to, or anybody that you want to use that third and fourth week as a way for you to invite people that you are working with or looking to partner. And I'll focus on buyers and sellers on the last 2 weeks. Okay. So the first 2 weeks will be on you, agent attraction, really getting something valuable to say, and follow up, the mechanics of follow up. And then weeks 3 and 4, you'll be able to invite whomever you would like. If you have any problem at any time, Eric at coachburt.com will post his phone number and email. and my team will be on here with us. So if you got any questions at all, just ask those guys. They'll be able to help you. Okay. All right. I'm ready to get started. Why did I write the book $1 Million Follow-Up? And this is a really important thing to understand, is that I wrote the book $1 Million Follow-Up for one reason. I observed how people followed up with me. And I watched how pitiful people followed up with me as they would present an idea to me. And maybe I was interested. Maybe I had some level of interest. Maybe I didn't fully understand how they could help me. And then I would watch how they wouldn't follow up with me to bring that discussion to a decision. I call that seeing it through to its logical conclusion. And so I was frustrated. And so on a plane back from somewhere one night, I literally sat down and wrote the book $1 Million Follow-Up, I think in one plane ride. And it's a small book that has a big impact. Okay. Now let me give you some stats that you just need to know as it relates to follow-up to start us off. Number one, every statistic in the world tells me that it takes 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to convert a person who is interested in something to a person that is taking action on something. Okay. Now, the reason that is true is because if you study the law of diffusion, I want you to understand this: when you present an idea to another person, only 2.5% of people immediately take action the very first time that they see it. Okay. How many of you took action on EXP the very first time you saw it? Okay. Do you have any people on here? Okay. Jay, how many times did it take you to see it before you took action?
It took me two exposures. One was not a very well, and there was interestingly enough, both of the first 2 times, nobody followed up with me at all whatsoever, but 2 times, 2 exposures. It wasn't until the 3rd time that I actually did it. And that was, 6 months, 8 months later.
Now, what type of volume were you doing when they presented this to you?
Yeah. I mean, we were doing, 10 million in revenue. So it was kind of a big deal. It was probably worth following up on.
That's what I'm saying. See how crazy that is, guys? Is somebody presented an idea to Jay Kinder and then they didn't even follow up with him. This is how crazy this is.
I think Al has a similar story too.
Al, you have a similar story. How many times did you get exposed to it before you took an action?
I actually feel bad about even talking about it, because one of my past coaching clients from Kinder Reese, when I was coaching as one of their coaches, George Huntoon, jumped from Remax to EXP, and he kept telling me, he's like, "Oh, the stock is $1.50. It's going to be big." And I blew him off so badly. I feel bad about it. Like, George, I don't know what you're talking about. I have my own brokerage, but he didn't stay with me. And when I see him at the conventions, we still give each other a big hug. And, it's just a reminder that if he would have just stayed with me past the first 2 times that he tried, to tell me about it, things may be different financially for him, but I try not to rub that in too much.
Yeah, of course. Now, here's the deal. All right. So I want you to write these statistics down. Roughly 2.5% of people will see something one time and take action on it. Those are called innovators. They see something once and they move. But look at how small that percentage is. 2.5%, guys. Okay. Roughly 13.5% of people need to see something 1 to 3 times. They need to see something 1 to 3 times. Okay. Roughly 34% of people need to see something 3 to 7 times. Okay. Another 34% of people need to see something 7 to 15 times. And then the final 16% of people ain't never going to see it. Okay. And those are called laggards. I like to joke and say those are called losers. Okay. Because it doesn't matter if you gave them $1 million, they wouldn't take it. They'd find a way not to take it. Okay. Now, the reason I'm showing you this, okay. Tina said 1 to 3 times. Tina called it. Good. The reason I'm showing you this is because when I saw this law of diffusion, this helped me to better understand why I needed to follow up with people. Okay. So here's a couple key principles in real estate. Number one, 67% of people use the very first agent that contacts them. They don't use the best one, the best looking one, the most experienced one. Okay. Take 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to convert someone who is interested into someone who is taking action. Okay. And just something for you to know, the average person is going to buy 4 to 7 houses. Okay, and each transaction, if satisfied, should be worth 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the consumer. Now, just based on those stats, how many of us have lost some money due to lack of follow-up? See, I ask agents, how many of those would you like to get? And they say, oh, I'd like to get all 7. Well, the National Association of Realtors said that 98% of real estate agents never call a client back once they put them in a home. So you don't get the 5.7 referrals, and you don't get the 4 to 7 houses that a person's going to buy. Okay. Now, same stats there are the same stats you need to think in agent attraction. Some people need to see something multiple times over a period of time before they take action. So I want you to write this down and always remember it. An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. That's Newton's law, guys. The reason we need this $1 million follow-up is because we live in a very distracted world. And that word distract means to pull apart. Okay, so I want you to think of follow-up is an object at rest will stay at rest. There's agents out there right now who you know it is to their benefit to join EXP. How many of you made up your mind it's to their benefit to join EXP? How many of you wish you would have joined earlier? Okay, so if you already made up your mind that it's to other people's benefit, there's agents out there that are at rest. They're going to stay at rest in their current position until something comes along. What's going to come along? You're going to come along, right? You're going to come along and you're going to be an object in motion, because objects in motion stay in motion unless acted on by an outside force. That's Newton's law. So people of interest, busy people, guess what? They're moving. They're moving. It's hard to get their attention. It's hard to keep their attention. And now they could be skeptical, right? They may have to see something 3 to 7 times. They may have to see something 7 to 15 times. So when you're really thinking about this concept of follow-up, I want you to first understand there's really 2 problems with the follow-up. Number 1, we don't go the distance. We don't go the distance. Okay. Largest coaching contract I ever signed. I asked for $1 million from a mortgage company. They didn't give me $1 million, but they gave me $750,000. And I followed up for 1 solid year. I never got any response back to any of those follow-ups. Like 6 months into it, I got a little thumbs up emoji. That's it. That's all they ever sent me. They never said, we like you. They never said, we're interested in hiring you. I spoke at an event. I made up my mind that I could work with them. I could help them. I followed up for 1 year. I got 1 emoji. And then one day out of the blue, I get a phone call. Hey, we got a problem. Money changes hands when problems are solved. Okay. So the reason you're following up, there is no wasted movement in follow-up. Every text you send, every video you send, every follow-up you send, every encouragement. Last night I was in Michigan, Fremont, Michigan. You guys probably don't know where that is. It's a little town in Michigan. I was staying at a place called the Shack, which was sitting on the water in this little bitty town. And guess who I was thinking about? Jay Kinder. And I just sent Jay a message. Man, I'm thinking about you. I appreciate your remarkable boldness. I want to help you be the best you can be, man. That's a follow-up. Does everybody see that? There is no wasted movement. See, there it is right there. I was thinking about him last night about 10 o'clock. And I said, so when I think it, I do it. There is no wasted movement. Follow-up is encouragement. Follow-up is to give people information. Follow-up is to just help a person go from A to B. Okay, so the number 2 problems we have is number 1, we don't go the distance. We don't go the 7 to 15 touches. Raise your hand if you're guilty of that one. You just don't go the distance with people. Okay. And number 2, the methodology many times is wrong. Okay. And that's why we're going to cover the explanation of value today. Because when you explain something to another person the first time, many times that's what they remember, is how you explain something to them. So our 2 problems are we don't go the distance, 7 to 15 touches. And number 2, we just do a poor job with the methodology. Nobody's ever taught us what to say. So we say all the wrong things. Just checking in. I'm just touching base. I'm just wondering if you have any questions. Okay. My all-time favorite, I woke up thinking about you today. Okay. Folks, that's creepy. Don't tell people you woke up thinking about them. Okay. And unless you woke up with something very specific to say to them. Now, if I was going to say that, I'd say, Al, man, I had 2 things I was thinking of this morning that I think can help you move from A to B in your life. Okay. If I was thinking about him when I woke up, that's okay. But I just don't text him and say, I'm thinking about you. Okay. Now, let's talk about the purpose of the follow-up. And I actually believe one of the main things that we need to do, one of the main things is this. I'm going to mute everybody on here. One of the main things is this. I actually believe from the time I wrote this book that follow-up is even broader. I know we're talking about agent attraction. I want you to follow up on your dreams. I want you to follow up on ideas. I want you to follow up on events that you need to have. I want you to follow up on strategic partners. I want you to follow up on building your network of people. I want you to see, when I wrote this book, it was about how do you follow up and close on a person, right? The word close means to bring something to an end. Since then, 5 or 6 years later, I'm like, man, we should be following up on ideas. We should be, this whole thing right here with you guys started with an idea between me and Alex Stacy just talking one day on how we could help the Honey Badger Nation. It was just an idea followed up on. Everybody see that? So when you think about follow-up, there's partnerships you should be following up with. There's ideas, there's dreams, there's goals, that is follow-up. Okay. It's right. And so when you have a thought of somebody you can help, when you have a thought of somebody you're watching that you're impressed with, or somebody that you see potential in, you need to initiate the follow-up. Okay. So that's a broader definition of follow-up. Now, there's 4 purposes of the follow-up. Okay. And I will be posting these notes in the private Facebook group. So I want my team to make sure you put the Facebook group. It's $1 Million Follow-Up with Coach Burt. That's the Facebook group. Okay. There's 4 real purposes of the follow-up. Very important you understand this. Number 1, to rekindle an initial attraction to something. You presented an idea. They were interested in that idea, but somehow you lost their attention. Okay. And you cannot get a person to take action on something when you don't have their undivided attention. Okay. So number 1 is I want to rekindle. See, I was over in Fremont and I flew up on my plane to Fremont. And since I was 3.5 hours from Detroit, I just told my pilot, just take me over to Detroit. I'm going to stop in and do a session with some folks here. I'm actually at EXP office. And I invited those people and I invited the mortgage company. And I just said, man, I'm in Detroit. I'm going to take 30 people. I'm just get in a room with you. Okay. I was 3.5 hours away. I'm like, man, I should go to Detroit and stop by and see that. Why? Rekindle that initial attraction. Does everybody see that? You think it'll help my cases in Michigan of getting new business or hurt my cases by seeing these people in person? Okay. Rekindle the initial attraction. Number 2, to feed people information. To feed people information. This is the second reason you follow up. The reason people don't take action is because they're afraid of something. And until you figure out what they're afraid of, what calms the croc brain, which is the front part of the brain, is information. You're feeding people information. This is why when you say, man, do you have any questions? You're not feeding me any information. You're not showing me any demonstrated capacity. You're not giving me any success of someone else. You're not giving me a new idea. You're not giving me an encouragement. See, when you follow up and say, man, do you have any questions? I'm just thinking about you, just touching base. Okay. How many of you are guilty of following up that way? Do you have questions? Just touching base, right? This is an inaccurate way to follow up. Okay. Now, when you think about this concept, what I want you to think about is number 1, I'm rekindling an initial attraction. Number 2, I'm sending key information to help them make a decision. Okay. To help them make a decision. Okay. Number 3, I'm following up to find their fear. The 2 reasons people don't take action is because they're afraid of something: fear and insecurity, fear and vacillation, fear and doubt. They're afraid of something. Okay. And the way you say that is, Al, seems like you're interested in this, man, but you're stuck on one thing. Am I right about that? Okay. It seems like you're interested, man. I want to help you, but it feels like you're stuck on this one thing. Am I right about that? See, I just want to address that fear right up front, of what's keeping a person from moving forward. And if I'm wrong, I have them tell me, right? Sometimes I say, I know this scares you. I know this is a big decision. Okay. But I can't help you till you commit. Once you commit, man, we're not in the business of helping people fail. Okay. Next purpose of the follow-up is actually to challenge the premise of the other person. Challenge the premise of the other person. Now, when I was working on my doctorate, I went to college for 9 years, guys, and I was working on my third degree, and I had a class in dissertation, had to write a dissertation, which is a miserable process. You write it, turn it in, and then they don't accept it. Then they kick it back to you. And they say, we don't accept your premise. And then then you do it again, and then they kick it back to you. Then you do it again, and then they kick it back to you. And they say, we don't accept it. And let me tell you what I learned during this is just because you have an idea doesn't mean I have to accept that idea. I don't have to accept your premise. I could actually challenge your premise. So I may say it like this: Jay, I understand why you're thinking the way you are. Okay. And I thought like that too. Would you be open to looking at this from a different angle? Would you be open to seeing it from this perspective? Would you be open to this possibility if I could show you how this is working for a lot of people? If I could show you how this is working for Beth Silverman and Raymond, if I could show you some demonstrated capacity of this, would you be open to this? See, I'm challenging their thought pattern. How many of you thought something, but you were wrong in your thoughts? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you needed somebody to call you out on it? How many of you needed somebody to say, hey, man, I understand why you look at this, but the way you see the problem is the problem. Okay. So what I do when I'm following up with people is I can understand why you think the timing's not right. I can understand why this is a big decision. Would you be open to looking at this from another perspective? Would you be open to seeing this in another way? So I got 4 purposes: rekindle the initial attraction. Number 2, feed people important information so they can make a decision. That could be success stories. That could be demonstrated capacities of other people. That could be a video. That could be webinars you've done. That could be any information that you want to send people that would help them make a decision. Okay. For example, I sent a follow-up to another EXP team today. And I said, let me give you an example of what I'm doing with this group. Okay. Let me show you what I'm doing with this group to see if it would be valuable for you. Everybody see that? I'm giving them a reference point. Okay. So number 3 is to find the fear. You follow up to find the fear. And number 4, to challenge the premise. To challenge the premise, because you don't have to accept their premise. Just because they think something doesn't make it right. Okay. And I do that in a nice way, in a friendly way, right? This is the real purpose of the follow-up. Now, based on those 4 purposes, how many of you feel like you have followed up incorrectly when it comes to agent attraction with the other agents? Okay, based on the 4 I just gave you. All of us have. And until I really broke follow-up down to a science, I followed up incorrectly, guys, because I wasn't helping people make a decision. By the way, the word decide means to kill something off. What you're really doing when you follow up is helping another person make a decision. What are they doing? Killing off their other options, killing off their fear, killing off their insecurity, killing off their doubt. So I actually say that if I was following up with Justin, I may say, Justin, man, what I'm doing here is helping you kill off some of that fear, some of that insecurity, some of that doubt, man. That's the purpose of the follow-up. So when I call people, if I call Alice, I say, Alice, the purpose of my phone call today is to help you make a decision. Seems like you want to do this, man. Sounds like this is perfect for you. We've been talking about this. Seems like you're ready to get started. What would stop you from doing it right now, Alice? See, I'm keeping her in a forward posture. Now I'm going to say one more thing before I move into when to follow up. I asked Ed Milet once what he was really good at. And I said, Ed, what's your number 1 talent? Because he made a fortune in the insurance business at WFG. You know what he told me? I'm really good at getting other people excited about their future. How many of you believe the follow-up is to get another person excited so they'll take action? See, this is a lost art, isn't it, guys? It's a lost art of calling you and getting you excited, man. Let's do this. Let's get excited about this. It's a big opportunity, right? Like getting another person to where they're ready to make a decision by getting them excited and then affirming and validating that decision. And if you've done it and it's been good for you, I say, man, it's the best decision I ever made. I wish I would have made this decision sooner, man. I'm trying to help you make this decision, kill off all that fear you got, all that doubt, all that insecurity, and help you move into a forward position here. Okay. Yeah. Jump in here, guys.
Yep. So I want to stop you here and maybe you're going to come back to it toward the second half of our time together, but with the 4 purposes, I think it might be super helpful for everybody, because this is why we did the workshop, is to maybe give an example of each, what
Yep.
they could do for each. So like, number 1, what's one thing, Jay, you can jump in here, that we could do to rekindle the attention of some prospective agents that you may have done a co-broke with them. You may have seen them at a board event or a women's council event, or maybe it's an event that, and you're following up. What's one thing that they could literally do when they hop off this training to rekindle attention? Jay, you got something that came to mind?
Yeah, I mean, when to rekindle, I mean, when Coach was talking about it, the thing I thought about was, I've got Kyle Miller, who has been interested from, I mean, four years ago, he went to Compass. He's paying a ton of money to Compass. I know he was interested. I have not been following up properly. And so, I think that's the person that I think of, is that person that I haven't really reached out to. Exactly what this say is, I think Coach gave it to me. I don't know if I wrote it down, but it seems like you really wanted to do this, but there's something holding you back. I feel like that was what I need to do to rekindle the interest. Like, what's the one thing, what would keep you from making this move, or what's the one thing we need to answer to get you to make this decision?
Yeah, I think that's the one, that's finding their fear. I think that's like number 3,
you're
right?
kind of combining those. You're rekindling.
Yeah. You're rekindling
and finding the fear, because it's obvious. See, Jay that guy wouldn't come to the top of Jay's mind if he didn't think he had a legitimate interest. But there's something holding that guy back. Now, we know what's holding that guy back is there's some kind of fear that Jay has to find to address. Okay. And until he finds that fear, we're just in limbo. So remember, what we're trying to do is bring a person to a decision. And if the decision is, I'm out, man, Jay, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Right. It's okay. There is no such thing as rejection here. Some will, some won't. So what? I would rather know if Jay's not interested in doing something with me than go for years and years and years. Right.
Right.
So what I want to do is I just want to bring that. Now, if I think Jay is becoming disinterested, one negotiating tool I use is I say, Jay, have you given up on this initiative, man?
Yeah.
Have you given up on this? Have you given up on the hope of coming over here with us? Everybody see that? And if he comes back and goes, no, I haven't given up, man, I've been distracted. Thank you for following up. That may rekindle the follow-up.
Yeah.
If he don't follow up with Jay, then it's like, man, now Jay knows I can move on. Hey, man, have you given up on this? It's okay. I'm going to move on. Love you. Here's what I say. When you're ready, I'll be ready. Everybody see that? No hard feelings. When you're ready, I'll be ready. Okay. So rekindle is, man, I want to bring you back to a time. Al, remember when you and I were talking about this? Al, remember when you told me, Al, that you were miserable over here doing it this way? Man, Al, I'm bringing it to you on a silver platter, man. I'm trying to help you get to that next phase, right? All I'm trying to do here, Al, is help you go from A to B. See how I'm rekindling that attraction? See, Al told me something that I heard. He told me what his problem was. He told me what his A to B was. When I rekindle something, I go back to that. Al, remember when you and I were talking back in March, man, and you told me you were miserable and you're ready to do bigger things? Man, you keep coming back to my mind for me to help. You're somebody I'm supposed to be helping, man. Is this something you'd be interested in, Al? Okay. Now, he's going to tell me yes or no, guys. Okay. And it's going to keep this thing going. It's going to keep it going. Okay.
Love
and
it.
his response to me is what's going to keep it going. Now, does anybody need any other breakdown of any of those? Now, if I were to challenge you in the follow-up, if Travis Holbrook, he's in our coaching program, if he said to me, man, I'm thinking about doing this, but man, timing's not right. He gives me a couple things. I'm going to say, I understand. Travis, is there any other reason outside of this one thing? Are you believing the timing's not right that would keep you from moving forward with me? See, I'm going to try to pin him down on what that reason he's not moving forward with me. Everybody see that? And if he said, no, it's just timing, I may come back and challenge his premise. I get it, man. I felt the same way. Would you be open to me telling you why I believe the timing is exactly right for you to do this? See, would you be open to this conversation? See, I can quickly turn. Travis may listen to my argument and he may go, that's right. That's right. I think the timing is right. But by the way, what I say on timing is, man, if the timing had to be right, I'd still be a high school basketball coach winning championships. Making 50 grand a year. If the timing had to be right, because I was just going to keep winning championships. I would have never left if the timing had to be right. How many of y'all agree that we create our own timing by taking action?
Yep.
So look at, if Travis said that to me, look at what I say back to it. Man, I understand. Is there any other reason outside of this one thing that's keeping you from moving forward and joining us? Because it's going to be dynamite when you join us, man. With you and your unique skill set and your unique talents and our dynamic network of people and what we got going on, man, you're going to be an incredible addition to this. I can't wait to get you started. Everybody see that? What am I doing now? I'm getting him excited. Okay. The second thing Milet told me, by the way, is he told me that he was really good at helping every person on his team find their talent and then teaching them how to make money with their talent in this business. So I could say, Travis, you're great with people. Man, when you join our team, I'm going to show you exactly how to use your talent and dominate that market in where you live in South Carolina. He lives right there, South Carolina and Georgia, right? I'm going to show you exactly how to dominate that market, man, when you join us by using your talent. Now, how many of you believe that there's less than 5 people who ever do that for you in your life? Help you find your talent, show you how to make money with your talent, right? If you do that if you've got a big downline, if you do that for other people, they will never forget you. They will never leave you. The retention will go through the roof when you do this for other people, guys. And that's good advice Milet gave me. Okay. Now,
Hey, I want to just jump in real quick. So just so everyone knows what I do, I am a sticky note freak, and I write these little nuggets on sticky notes that are all around my office here so that I can just keep staring at them. And when I'm on these conversations, I could spit it out. I wanted to just share what I wrote down here. So and I'm going to use this on one of the next time I get the objection, the timing ain't right. And I get that. If the timing had to be right, I'd still be out there opening up lock boxes, working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, missing dinner with my family.
Yeah, that's right.
Write down what yours is. Take it, write down what yours is, and put it on a sticky note and stick it somewhere where you're going to read it. Because when you're on that call, you want to be able to just recall this and be like, oh yeah, boom, and pull out that.
Didn't you drive big trucks, Al?
Yeah, I drove.
Truck driver? Yeah. Okay. Hey, the time I had to be right, I'd still be a truck driver.
That's
I sure would be vacationing in Puerto Rico. Right. I'd still be driving trucks, man. The time I had to be right.
I gotta write a new sticky note now.
Now, here's what I'm saying to you guys. We're about to get into this part about your story of origin and your explanation of value. My point is, I want you to really understand the follow-up, the purpose of the follow-up, so you can get it right. It's really to help another person make a decision. At the end of the day, all of these are just strategies to help a person make a decision. And remember, the word decide means to kill off. Decision means to cut away. To cut away. I'm helping you cut away all this other noise. I'm helping you get laser focused on moving you from A to B. Okay. Now, let's get into the next chapter of this, which is when to follow up. When to follow up. How do you know if you should pursue a person 7 to 15 times? What if I told you that I made up my mind in the first 15 seconds of talking to a person if I was going to pursue them 7 to 15 touches based on their response to my interaction with them? Okay. Now, I have what's called a filter, an opportunity filter. And let me tell you what I'm looking for when I go out into the world. I'm looking for open and growth mindsets versus closed mindsets. Number one, I'm looking for open mindsets, not closed, not fixed. I'm looking for hungry, humble, coachable. I'm looking for people who have a desire to learn, grow, connect. Okay. And I'm looking for people who have the time, the interest, and maybe the money. Okay. Now, you say, how do you know in 15 seconds? I'm going to speak in a minute. There's going to be real estate agents here, and there's going to be mortgage people here. I'm going to offer them the ability to go deeper with me, join my coaching program in some way. And then I'm going to walk around and talk to them because there's going to be a small group, 30 or 40 people. And I'm going to walk right up to them and I'm going to say, man, I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. Have you considered have you ever considered, let me be your coach? Okay. Now, by their body language in response to that question, I'm going to know if I should follow up or not. What if they say this, Jake? No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm crushing it out here. I don't need anybody. You think I know in the first 15 seconds that that's a no-go?
Yep. 100%.
All right. So I walk around and I talk to people and I go, man, you seem like you're interested in growth. Am I right about that? Yeah. Have you ever considered me and you working together in some way, some capacity? Okay. I believe with a good coach in your life, you're going to play at a higher level. And I lead with a very strong belief statement. And when I share that belief, I look at their response to me and I'm asking myself, do they check off are they hungry? Are they humble? Are they coachable? Do they want to grow? Because one of my beliefs is no matter how good you are, you can always get better. How many of y'all believe that? No matter how good you are, there's always somebody out there doing it at a bigger level than us. So I'm looking for a certain person. And the reason this is important is, would you rather know in 15 seconds or chase somebody for 15 months? Okay. And I always like to say, how many of you have chased somebody for 15 months only to wish you never caught them? Okay. So there's a big difference here between attracting someone and chasing someone. Okay. So I go out into the market and I'm watching people. Oh, man, that dude's hungry. That dude's humble. That dude's coachable. Man, she's trying to get better. Okay. And then I have interaction with them and they're interested, right? So this is what's called an opportunity filter. Okay. Now, I'd like your thoughts here on this. When you're watching a person, you go, man, that guy would be a good fit for the honey badgers. That person she would be great for this. What are you looking for so everybody on here can understand that?
Are you asking me that or Al that?
Either one of you.
Yeah. We used to use Hungry, Humble, Smart. It was a filter we used for all of our coaching clients. If you're not hungry, humble, and smart, and I like coachable better, because really coachable is one of our core values in AEA, being coachable. Like, if you're not coachable, I can't mess with you. Like, if you've ever tried to coach someone that's not coachable, it's the most miserable, miserable thing you can try to do. And I want to repel those people, right? Like, I don't want, if you're not coachable, move on, step aside. I'm looking for the people that are trying to win. And hungry, humble, coachable was always, being coachable was always the values that we ran. It was our filter. It was our filter system for how we decided if we wanted you as a client. And we didn't have a system like you have here to identify that early on and move on from wasting our time with people that aren't a good fit. Certainly doing it in a room of people, I'm sure it's extremely valuable, because you can identify real quick who's got the body language and who's like sitting up in their chair and taking notes and fumbling in their seat, like, man, he's talking to me. But I think that's one of the beautiful things about EXP is, like, we only attract the kind of people that we want to attract. So if you're clear on who you are and the type of people you want to partner with, then that comes out in your communication and your belief statements, and the people that have the same beliefs they come to you instead of you having to chase them down.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you this. So we're going to move into the explanation of value here. And this is very important. Okay. Because this is the framework for sharing and inviting people to something in the future that you really need to understand. Okay. And we call this the explanation of value, sometimes called the explanation of service.
Hey, Coach.
Yes.
Let me just add one more thing before we get into the explanation of service, because it's super important. But to close out the who we're looking for, I want to make two distinctions. One, it's really amazing, being that I was privileged to be a part of, Kinder Reese coaching and NAEA from a coach's perspective and a client perspective, how similar it is from agent attraction and recruiting to growing your coaching organization and who you're looking for. And I just want to say this, is that the one thing that I've done poorly in the past, and I try to catch it early, is try to convince somebody who's not convincible. Even some of my closest friends that there was a kid, I won't mention his name because he's a really good friend of mine, but I brought him into the real estate industry right out of school, helped mentor him, coach him. He's still at Remax today, and he's stubborn, and he's a good guy. He's a great agent, super likable. Everyone loves him, but he doesn't have the growth mindset, and he's not open-minded. And I, the biggest lesson I think everyone, I just want to share with you is that stop beating your head against the wall to try to convince somebody who doesn't have these qualities. That's where I think people get frustrated and they give up on agent attraction and recruiting, is because they're like, this ain't working for me. And I just believe that the reason it's not working is you're talking to the wrong person. They don't have those qualities. So I just wanted to mention that to the group. So it saved you some frustration.
Guys, thank you. So I was just on vacation with my best friend. He's going to do 300 transactions this year. It's probably hitting about 120 million of volume in his market. And I presented EXP to him. Here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. Here's why I think this is the most dynamic real estate company in the world. Here's why I think this will be good for you. Here's why I believe that you can get to your goals faster. You go further. You have more residual income. And he's just closed off to it right now. Now, when I share that belief and I share it that strong with him, and I say, this is what I believe, and this is why I believe it, and this is why I think you should do this or consider this. This is how this is different. Here's success stories of people I'm coaching at EXP. What would stop you from moving forward on this? Now, I want you to look at the framework I just used. I want you to write this down, because part of your assignment from today is going to be to really fine tune this. And Jay and Al and I have been working on this for about a year on this explanation of value. Okay. Number one, you always lead with what you believe, not with what you do. Okay. You always lead. Now, you don't call people up and be all weird and say, Brandon Town, let me tell you what I believe. See if you believe it too. Okay. You initiate a conversation. You connect. You locate a problem. You then move into your explanation of value. Okay, everybody see that? So remember, I got my filter. Okay, and let's say Brandon fits in the filter. Once I connect with Brandon, I'm going to say, I got a big question for you. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do with your real estate business? This is a magical question, guys. It's amazing what people tell you when you just ask that question. Man, I'm trying to double my business. I'm trying to figure out how to, right? I listen. Then I move into my explanation of value. Great. So a few things I believe. So number one, we need at least what I think is 3 strong belief statements. I believe this. I believe this. I believe this. One of my favorite ones in agent attraction is I believe the challenge with the real estate business model is it all goes to zero at midnight, right? After you sell a house, you got to go sell another house. Everybody see that? See, that's a strong belief I have about the real estate model. Okay, I believe it all. I believe one of the problems with the real estate models, man, is it all goes to zero at midnight. I believe at some point in everyone's life, when they work long enough and hard enough and they're tired enough, they're going to go searching for residual income. How many of you guys believe that? When you get sick, right, at some point in your life, no matter what if Al would have stayed in the trucking business, at some point in his life, when he drove that truck long enough and hard enough and got sick enough of it, he'd go, man, I got to go find some residual income somewhere. Okay, that's a belief I have. So number one, we lead with what we believe.
Coach, could you repeat the first one was go to zero? So that
I believe the problem with the real estate business model, the vehicle of real estate, is that it all goes to zero at midnight. Because once you sell one house, you got to go sell another house. And today's closings don't care about, today's business don't care about yesterday's closings. See? Now, how many of you, that's one of the biggest reasons you got into EXP, because of residual and some of the things that build an organization? Raise your hand, please. Okay. Now, how many of you saw that same flaw in the real estate business model when you were in real estate, out there showing houses on Saturday and Sunday? Okay. Yep. And all that. Okay. Okay. So what I do is I come right out of the gate with a strong belief, boom, like a haymaker. And people go, that's right. That's right. That is a problem. So number one, I lead with what I believe. And I typically have 3 very strong beliefs. Okay. Number 2, I then explain why I believe what I believe. Okay. If you ever hear Jay tell his story of origin is he did 500 deals and it almost killed him. It's the worst year of his life. Okay. That's a story of origin. There's a moment in time that Jay can go back to that other people can relate to, right? And that's called a story of origin. So when he's explaining it, he said, this is what I believe. Let me tell you why I believe this, man. I did 500 deals one year and almost killed me, right? It was one of the toughest years of my life. Okay. So what he's doing is he's taking them to a moment in time and explaining why he believes what he believes. There was some big revelation he had. There's some big aha moment that he had. Okay. Step 3, because of that belief, this is what I chose to do. Because of this belief, this is what I chose to do. I chose to join EXP. I chose to build an organization like this. I chose to do this. Okay. Then I move into how this is different than anything else that I've been involved in. Because people are always asking. I mean, how many of you guys have been asked this question? How's EXP different than everything else? You need to know there's really 3 things that makes this company different than every other real estate company that's out there. And they need to be very compelling things. It's like 1, 2, 3. So a person can go, okay. After I explain what makes it different, I then move into success stories. Okay. Now, we just got Christy on board. She's out there in Lake Tahoe. And let me tell you what she's doing and what kind of success she's having. And she's on fire. Okay. If you study persuasion, one of the tenets of persuasion is called credibility indicators or success indicators. It's where other people you can tell, man, hey, right, this is working. Let me show you how it's working. Okay. Let me show you how it's working. They go, oh, this is good. This could work for me. Okay. This is called credibility indicators. All right. And then I come down to step number 6, which is an ask or an invite. And basically what I'm saying to them is I'm inviting them to something. This sounds good to you. Would you like to go to step 2? Seems like you're interested in this. Now, some people are going to go, I'm interested. Tell me more about that. Sometimes I just invite people to something. Okay. Now, Jay, if I went through that whole cycle and a person seemed interested when I shared so think of our steps. I initiate, I connect, I locate a problem. That's what are you trying to do? And then I share my explanation of value. And they go, this is good. My next step typically is to have them take an action to something. So Jay, what would you have them take an action to?
There's one single thing that every single person should do, and that is invite them to watch the Why Partner With Us video, period. And the reason why is because we baked in all of the testimonials into it. We baked in all the things that you may or may not do perfectly in this communication, in this process of nailing it. But we nailed it in the video so that when they watch that video, it's going to reinforce either what you said or what you should have said. And they're going to come to the conclusion that, hey, this is something I probably need to do. And so the video, the Why Partner With Us video, has all of the principles that we're talking about here baked into it. And so you want to use Rapid Funnel. You want to invite them to take a look at the, to invite them to watch this video. That's my personal preference. You can try it any other way you want to, but I believe that the most duplicatable, easiest, simplest process is to leverage what we built and use that.
Now, my wife's a health coach, and she's coached by the #1 person in the company. And she wasn't getting a lot of success when she was coaching people and getting them onto the nutrition plan. And I asked her one day, I said, now, are you doing it exactly the way he told you to do it? She said, well, no, I mean, he does it his way and I'm going to do it my way. And I said, look, when the #1 guy in the company tells you to do it this way, you need to do it exactly the way he tells you to. So listen, she started doing it the way he told her to, right? This is how you do it. This is how you explain it. This is how you go to the next step. A couple of weeks later, she's like, man, signed up 4 people today. I said, did you do it exactly the way he told you? Yes. Okay. Same thing is true here, guys. You need to do it exactly the way Jay and Al are presenting it here. Okay. Now, why is this important to follow up? Is that this very first interaction that you have with the person and you explain your beliefs and you tell them a story of origin and you connect. How many of you believe people do business with other people that believe the same things they do? Okay. So when I say I believe in being hungry, humble, coachable, I believe those that have a coach always outperform those that don't have a coach. I believe no matter how good you are, you can always get better. Okay. When I share those beliefs and they go, that's right. Let me tell you why I believe that. Okay. Now, as a result of that belief, let me tell you what it is I do or what I recommend. Okay. Now let me tell you how this is a little bit different than what maybe you've been used to. Let me tell you about some people that's doing it with having success. Man, if we could do this for you, would that be something that interests you? And they say yes or no. And I can tell in the first interaction, this initiates the follow-up. I'm going to send you a video, watch it over the weekend, watch it when you have some time, when your mind's relaxed. I'm going to follow back up with you in the next couple of days. The reason I like the videos because they can watch it with no worry of, anything, right? It's completely on their time schedule. Okay. Now, this is called a story of origins called the explanation of value. And your assignment from today is going to be to work on and come up with your personal explanation of value through this framework. And we'll post the framework in the private Facebook group. We'll be accepting all of you guys in there. We'll post the notes to this and the framework so you can work through this. Now, you say, why is this important to follow up? Number one, it tells me, should I go 7 to 15 touches based on people's response to this? Number two, I only want to partner with people that believe some of the same things I do. How many of you agree with that? How many of you believe all conflict happens when two people don't believe the same things? Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going out into the world and saying, this is what I believe. This is why I believe it. This is what we do. This is how we do it different. These are people we're doing it for. If you're interested, come get involved with us. Okay, and I'm making a decision right then. Yes, let's initiate the follow-up, or no, let's not initiate the follow-up based on me sharing my beliefs. Okay, now when we get into buyers and sellers in week 3, you know what one of my beliefs is? I believe every person deserves the right to have a professional represent them when they buy, sell, build, or finance real estate. See that belief? Okay. So here's the thing. We're going to get real clear on this. Okay. So let's recap and then we'll get you out of here. 4 purposes of follow-up: rekindle, give info so they can make a decision, find their fear, challenge the premise. Okay. 4 purposes of the follow-up. Who am I looking for? A filter: hungry, humble, coachable. They got the time, they got the interest, they got the money, or the resource. Resource could be time. Okay. I make outbound effort every day. I initiate, I connect, I locate a problem, I share my explanation of value, and I invite them to something in the future. See, in weeks 3 and 4, we're going to let you invite other agents. Okay. Now let me just call on somebody and say, how would you do this? All right. Raymond Diaz, how would you invite people to come see me in week 3? If you're going to go invite some people. Raymond's out there in California.
I think just basically by doing what you mentioned and getting all excited myself and letting them feel some of that enthusiasm, and then just invite them along.
Yeah. Hey man, I believe the fortune is in the follow-up. We brought in this little bald-headed pit bull named Coach Burt. We're doing a 4-week series. Okay, he's teaching us the mechanics of follow-up. Man, you got to see this. Okay, I want to invite you to this because he's working on how to follow up properly. Probably get 5 to 15 deals as a result of the follow-up. We'd love to have you join us. You see that? What I do, led with my belief. I believe the fortune's in the follow-up. How many of y'all believe that? Okay,
Coach, you know what you did before that though is you picked the phone up
that's exactly right.
and you made a call.
Exactly right.
And I just want to emphasize that, it's not all DMs and everything. That's a phone call.
Right.
And I think a lot of us are hesitant to do it, but now we have the handles of the luggage, know exactly what to say to invite them. So I love that.
Right in the middle. I don't know if Molly Noah is on here. She's signed up for our coaching today. Right in the middle of me doing a session yesterday in Michigan to a group of farmers. Folks. I pulled up my phone. I'm gonna follow up with Molly right now. Molly, this is Coach Burt. I'm in Michigan. Can't wait to work with you. I'm excited to get you signed up. All I need, I can't help you till you commit. Once you commit, I'm not gonna let you fail. Can we go ahead and get a commitment from you? I did it right in the middle of the training to all these farmers. They loved it. You know why? They've never used a phone like that to follow up with people. Everybody see that? I think Molly's on her. Guess what Molly did this morning? She took action. Okay, and we're going to get to conversion points. One conversion point that I love is I can't help you till you commit. But once you commit, I'm not in the business of letting people fail. Everybody see that? So we'll get to conversion points. Okay. Now, has this been a good session for everybody? Feel like we got some good headway here. We got a good start. Okay. Remember, weeks 1 and 2, we're focused on agent attraction. So I need you to show up next week. We'll repost this. We'll put it in the private Facebook group. We'll also send it back out to you. If you got questions, put those in the private Facebook group. We'll make sure we accept everybody. And then I'll just be coaching you over the next 4 weeks in follow-up. Now, here's one more thing I want you to do from today. I want you to start initiating really 2 things, what we call the hit list. These are people that you're going to be initiating with to invite them to weeks 3 and 4. I want you to go ahead, Jeannie, I want you to go ahead and start thinking about your list of people you're going to be inviting to weeks 3 and 4. We call that the hit list or the help list. Okay. And number 2, Curtis Johnson, I want you to think about people who are already in your, what I call the farm club, people who are already indicated interest. And this is just one more value touch for you to invite them to weeks 3 and 4. Okay. And we'll be giving you the links, send you the links out so you can invite them. They can register, make it real simple and frictionless. Okay. But I want you to go ahead and be thinking about who's in that farm club. These are people who have indicated interest, but you haven't closed them. Okay. Okay. Al, Jay, you guys close us off here.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. This has been amazing. Literally 3 pages of notes today. And I want, you said what I was going to say. So part of the homework, what I did yesterday with Nick DeVito, who's our one of our ISAs on our team here, working with agent attraction, is I literally went back into the, we have a database of all agents in production and this and that. And I literally just went in and found all the people that I've had past relationships with, good interactions with. Like if they would see me at a realtor board event or whatever event, they'd be like, hey, Al, what's going on? How's things going? This and that. So these aren't strangers. These are people that already know, love, like, and trust me. But I haven't engaged with them about EXP. One of my biggest fears, and I don't know when I had this takeaway, was that I never want someone coming up to me and saying, Al, why didn't you ever reach out to me about EXP? I figured that you just didn't want to partner with me. You reached out to all these other people. You never reached out to me. And I never want that to be a conversation that ever comes at me. So I literally went into all those I made a fresh list of about 55 agents. I did this yesterday. It took me about an hour. And they're on my new help list. I love how you called that the help list. And what we're going to do, everybody, because of this is a workshop on follow-up, is that we're going to be giving you the link. Coach, I'm not sure if your team already has it, but it's basically going to be a direct link where your prospect does not have to register. They're not going to have to punch in a registration code to come on weeks 3 and 4. In other words, they're going to be able to click it and come right through. I believe, like, there's not like this pre-registration. I don't think, anyway. It's just going to make it easier that we all have the same link. And that's the link that you're going to be able to use to invite. So let's get the list made. And then I would say that after you get your list made, Coach, if correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but I'm thinking that, you start to rekindle the attention.
Yep. Make
Make that phone call, find out what's going on. Hey, because there's fear in the streets right now. Everyone knows that the market's turning. Most people are seeing it. Not everyone's seeing it in your market, but there's fear in the streets. And so one thing that, we believe is that you could, with the proper follow-up system, you could double your business. If you didn't let all the things fall through the cracks that we all have because of lack of follow-up systems, we could grow our business. And there's no other time that they need that is when the market shift is happening and there's fear in the streets. So that's the only thing I was going to add. Jay, what would you?
No, that's excellent. The thing I would challenge everyone to do is it's real hard to pick up the phone until you feel like you have this process somewhat laid out. I would challenge all of you. We have this week to create that hit list, that help list. I love that, by the way, the help list, and you get that done and get your state, your my EOS.
Explanation of value, yep.
There you go. Thank
Explanation,
you.
yep.
Explanation of value, explanation of service. Get that process laid out so you know what you're going to say, so that when you start having these conversations, you can start to get into that flow, because you're going to be fearful to make these calls until you do that. And so I would challenge everyone to make sure you not just do the homework, but post it in there. We'll all give feedback to each other, how we can polish it up. Somebody's going to post one that's going to be really good, and we're all going to be like, oh man, I'm just going to use that. So like, and you have to create your own story and your own success stories along with that, but make sure that you do that homework. I think that's going to be a hinge point for all of this next 3 weeks.
And I'll close with this. I know some people are asking, yes, weeks 3 and 4 will be for buyers and sellers. Okay, that's what our focus will be on. So when you're inviting people to this, you just say, hey, we're being coached, I'm being coached by a guy that's coached some of the top real estate people in the world, all companies. He wrote a book called $1 Million Follow-Up. It's real valuable. I'd love to invite you to it. And he's really breaking down the science of follow-up. And he believes that helps people get 5 to 15 more transactions per year, just based on this formula. So think about it when you initially reach out. Don't be hesitant. I'll just follow people and watch people and say, man, I'm watching you doing big things. Congratulations. I'm on this training. Would love to invite you to it. He's going to be covered. And he wrote the book $1 Million Follow-Up to give some street cred. Okay. But we'll be posting this. I know we covered a lot of content today. We will be posting this in the private Facebook group and sending replays out. We'll be sending the link out, and we will continue to go there. If you need to do a strategy session with me or with our team, then what I want you to do is just reach out to eric@coachburt.com, ERIC@coachburt.com. Okay. If you got some questions or need to do a strategy session around something, and we could go a little bit deeper on these concepts, and we'll be offering that throughout the 4 weeks.
Just,
All right. Go
can
ahead.
you tell me, how do I find the app on the phone? Like I saw the link in the chat to the PC, but I've not seen it in the App Store. Is there a phrase or something I should be using?
Yeah, so the link, it should be the link that I gave you. You should have a place to click and take you to the App Store. If you do it from your phone. If not, it's Rapid Funnel is the name of the app. So if you just look up Rapid Funnel, I think it's like a bluish purple and green type of logo, and then you'll put Honey Badger as the passcode. So, yep, got it. Awesome.
Coach, when will your team send out that link for week 3 and 4? Because I already started inviting people.
Yep, we're going to be sending it out quick. Since we went ahead and talked about it today, Mike Doyle and my team will send it out through our CRM system. And we'll also post it in the private Facebook group. So you have it. We'll make it a simple link. So we'll email it out, put it in the private Facebook group so that you'll have it so you can start inviting people. It will be 11 Central on every Thursday in July. 11 Central is when we're doing the sessions. All right. Thank you guys for being so coachable. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jay and Al. Love working with you guys. And thank you, Honey Badger Nation, man. We're going to make it a great 4 weeks. I expect some big things out of you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
God bless.
Coach. See you, everybody.